You guys like my new plant over there? That guy? Yes. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, folks. How the heck are ya? How the heck are you doing? Today, I want to talk about why you may struggle with practicing and being consistent with new ways of thinking and being in your own life. Now, the reason that I decided to address this today is because many of my clients will tell me, especially in the beginning of working together, they'll say, man, Shayna, I feel really good when we get off of our weekly phone call and even into the next day. But then as the week goes on, that feeling kind of wears off because my commitment wears off. And then when I know our call's coming up again, I'll buckle down and do the work again. And when I say the work, I mean mind management, evolving our thoughts, feelings, actions, and results to that next level. Now, of course, that work that I speak of takes on different forms based on who I'm working with and where they're at. But even if you're not a client of mine, you may notice a surge in your own thinking and emotional state after watching, let's say, a motivational video or reading a self-help book or doing an exercise in that book, right? And that shift in your energy may be present for a few hours or maybe a day or two. But for some reason, you just can't keep up the good work on your own. So that's what I want to talk about today. Like, what gives? Why does that happen? Why is it so difficult for a lot of us to stay consistent in our own thought work and, better yet, the managing of our brain on a daily basis? A couple of things could be going on. The first is that you don't fully believe in the power of your thoughts. I like to categorize the way in which we think about our thoughts in three ways. The first is complete oblivion, a complete lack of understanding by A, no fault of our own. We were just never taught how our brains work and we don't know what we don't know, right? Or B, for some, a straight up unwillingness to understand and educate and practice, which is totally fine, to each their own. The second category, which I believe is probably the most prominent, is this pretty picture of positive thinking. It's like those inspirational sayings stenciled on people's walls that read, think happy thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So there's that idea of it. It's this very fluffy idea about our thoughts and really, I guess, what this work is. But guess what, you guys? If you have a fluffy idea about this work, then your commitment to your own thoughts and feelings and this work is going to reflect that, because all of our thoughts create our results. P.S. What I just said right there was pretty meta, y'all. Let me say that again. If you have a fluffy idea about this work, then your commitment to your own thoughts and feelings is going to reflect that. For me, I'm like, nah, no thanks. I'm good. I'm good with like the pretty picture of positive thinking. I stand behind the power of this work. I fully understand and back that all my thoughts and feelings create my results. And that is category number 3. Guys, I have been studying self-development for like 10 years now, and let me tell you, not one teacher, coach, book, course that I have immersed myself into in any and all areas of personal development and walks of life has argued otherwise. Ever, bottom line. I understand the impact that our minds have from an academic and neuroscientific standpoint. I see it from a practical standpoint on paper with thought models. If you've worked with me, you're familiar with thought models. And better yet, I've experienced the power in a real life results standpoint. I did not create the results in my own life because positive thinking sounds like a nice idea. Absolutely not. I created the results in my life because I believed and continue to believe in the power of my thoughts and my feelings. I know that inspired action is birthed from intentionally choosing my thoughts. And that belief is the reason that I consistently do the work. And it's the reason that my clients' success stories are what they are when they too experience the power and in turn make it a consistent practice. So if you're not consistently doing the work on your own, you just want to check in with how you think and feel about your thoughts and your feelings. Like imagine there's a belief scale, okay? 1 to 10. 1 being complete oblivion or disregard. 5 being, okay, it's a nice idea, I can sometimes get behind it. And then 10 being full belief and power of thoughts. Where do you fall? Listen, guys, there are plenty of people who look at me and the work that I do in the world and think, that is so cute for you. What do I have to say about that? What I have to say is, that's okay. I let them think that. I let them think that I'm just skipping around, putting a positive spin on things because it's just a very nice thing to do. But if you are here and watching this today, you get to decide how you want to think about the quality of your thoughts moving forward and how much they matter. How much of an effect do you think they have in your life? Is the way you currently think about positive emotion serving you or not? Because if you really want to be the person who dives in and changes the neural pathways in their own brain to support what they desire, you must close the gap between this is a nice idea to this is everything. That level of belief will then drive your action to commit to your own mind management. Make sense? Now, that's assuming if you've been a viewer of this channel for a while or that you have some level of understanding of this work, right? If you're brand new here and you don't yet understand the fundamentals of how our brains work, like fact versus thought, it will require a little bit of research and gathering of information first to even shift into category 2, which is totally fine. Just gauge where you're at, my friend. Okay, the second reason you may not be consistent in this work is because you don't care enough yet about how you feel. Now, this is very much connected and intertwined with my first point. Why, you might ask? Because again, all of our thoughts create our feelings. In other words, we cannot have an emotion without a thought. Now, I don't want to go back to category 1 basics here, but just quickly, for example, if I think I'm not good enough, it triggers a feeling of doubt or unworthiness. I don't just feel doubtful of myself or unworthy. It literally requires a thought, a sentence in my mind to create that feeling. If I think, oh my gosh, I am so excited for what's next for me and this new year, then that thought triggers a feeling of excitement or anticipation. So again, when you really understand the power of your thinking in relation to how you feel, you get to then decide how much you care about the way you feel. Personally, I really like my reasons for self-coaching every morning and investing in my own coaches for a few different reasons. I have a few different reasons that I like a whole lot. One, it feels good to feel good, right? Like, guys, no matter who you are in the world or what you desire, we all want the things we want because of the feeling we think we'll feel when we get them, right? Like, we want money to feel free. We want a relationship to feel loved. We want designer clothes to feel confident. Whatever it is, we want things because of the feeling that they represent to us. Always, always, and always. Now, this is the fun part. You ready? This is how powerful our minds are. We can go to the place in our mind and have all the thoughts about already having the $1 million, let's say, and feel financially free and empowered right now? I do it all the time. Do you? If you think this is just pretty work, my guess is no. Pretty minds don't do that shit. If you believe that thinking positive thoughts is a nice concept, you 100% have not used your brain to its full capacity. You most likely have not experimented with what your mind is capable of. Correction. You most likely have, but you haven't consciously been aware of it. So for example, let's say you plan a trip to Mexico and all of a sudden you feel so amazing and excited and on cloud nine just thinking about your upcoming trip, yet you're sitting in a cubicle of a job that you claim to hate. How can that be? Because your thoughts are what create your feelings, always. So even though you're sitting in your cubicle doing meaningless work, your thoughts are triggering the same physical manifestations as if you were sipping margaritas on the beach, right? Because again, all of our thoughts create our feelings. So knowing that, why wouldn't you want to go to that place more often? If feeling good is what we are all after, and you have the power to go there at any time, why wouldn't you? Because, ding, 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 you still believe it's better over there. You still think that your circumstances, the money, the relationship, etc., is where it's all at. But the crazy part about it all, you guys, is that the only way to get over there is to align your thoughts with it first. So what I'm suggesting here to you is this: care about how you feel. Because it feels good, yes, and again, not to sound like a broken record, but because you believe in all your bones that all your thoughts and feelings create your results. Really think about this, you guys. If an all-knowing God swooped down to earth and said to you, okay, my friend, to get what you want in life, all you gotta do is walk this mile every day. That's it. Just walk this path that's 1 mile long. It's as simple as that, and you will get the things you want. You'd walk that freaking mile, no matter what. You'd set your alarm, you'd make the time, you'd put it above all your other to-dos and priorities 100%, right? So if you're not paying attention to your own thoughts and feelings and making it a practice to choose on purpose, it's simply because you don't fully believe in the impact that they have in your life and your future. End rant. Also, you may think of this work as obligatory. That's what a client of mine was doing in the beginning. Like, I have to journal. I have to make the time. I have to question this negative thought. I have to do these things. And I said to her, no, you don't. You don't have to do any of those things. I don't have to do any of those things, right? In fact, thinking I have to is not a good enough reason to continue doing it. No. I was guilty of this obligatory mentality in the past too. I was such an action-oriented person that when my own coaches introduced me really to the concept of thoughts and feelings, I was just doing the work as a means to cross it off my to-do list and to say that I did it, right? Instead of really being present with the tools and my journal and really applying them. So with my client, I helped her drop the idea that she had to do it because that was just simply untrue. Instead, I asked her why she wants to. Why do you like feeling good? Because feeling good feels good. Because my days are better when I choose what to think on purpose. I feel open. I feel expansive. Because it feels way better than living in the contrast. The contrast being negative emotion, suffering, lack, hate, fear, and worry. I like feeling good because when I feel good, it means I'm in alignment. And when I'm in alignment, the inspired action comes naturally. And that inspired action is the route to the results I desire. But most of all, I love feeling good because I feel empowered, because I'm the one creating my feeling state. I'm not a victim to my ever-changing circumstances. All I have to do is think and feel on purpose, and I feel on top of the world. Woof! I get all fired up with passion. Don't you just love when I go on those little rants? I do that all the time when I'm on my private calls with my clients. And I'm like, sorry, that was the universe speaking through me. That wasn't me. That was the universe. You get consistent when you consistently want to feel better and create consistent positive results. All right, my friends, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please give this video a thumbs up below and comment below. I am really curious to know where you fall on that belief scale of 1 to 10. How much do you believe in the power of your thoughts and your feelings? So put that down below. I'll make sure to respond. And yeah, I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.